As I walk up the block from the bus, I see Ace and Clue leaning on the car at the top of my block. I smile low key, but as I get closer, I drop the smile. I already saw the smile, gangster, Ace says. I start smiling again. Whatever, I laugh. What the fuck happened today? I asked before he could speak. We just got out the precinct not too long ago. And you came here? I question and slightly tilt my head in a manner of thinking. He did, Clue chimes in. I see Ace blush through his brown skin and it makes me smile. Okay, but why you got the police pulling guns on me and shit? I snap, breaking the moment. Clue looks around. Ace looks around. He folds his arms across his chest in an attempt to still look tough. The old man in front of the building called the cops saying he seen a gun. So why did all those cops come? He also told the cops you, Homegirl, and Clue was in the car. Those pigs could have been lying, but that's the story they told after all y'all left. I don't say anything. Why y'all really left? Because I just got felt up by a nasty ass cop after having 15 cops point their guns at me. I clearly needed to reevaluate what I was doing with the rest of my day. I say. I told the cop you ain't know what he was talking about. Yeah, I heard you. I roll my eyes. You mad? He's trying to be playful. More annoyed, but whatever. You want breakfast tomorrow? Nah, nigga, I'm going to school. I say and shoot him a side-eye glare. We stand there for a few more minutes and then I tell him I gotta get upstairs. He told me he had something he needed to handle, but would try to call and then we parted ways. No sooner than I get upstairs, I hear a knock at my door. Who? I say from behind the door as I unzip my spring jacket to get settled. Lauren, I hear from the other side, and I could tell she's smiling. I open the door. Do you have a sensor on me? I close the door back and lock it. Then we walk toward my room. Yes, I got kicked out. Kicked out of where? I look genuinely confused. Why was she smiling? School. I'm going to Jamaica. And you're happy? My confusion continues. Yes, I hated Forest Hills. What did mommy say? I question as we settle into my room. She isn't talking to me. Wish she could send me to the jail my dad is in. Blah, blah, blah. I stay quiet. I'm not sure what to say at this moment. Sometimes Lauren pretends things don't bother her, but they really do. She will say it later on when she's already in an emotional moment. Sometimes she felt her mother resented her. Only her. She never said why, and I never asked why. It never felt appropriate to ask that question. Anyway, I'm seeing Mosi again, she continued. I had to pause to think for a second. Oh, y'all still a thing? That's good. Yeah, he's nice, but I'm getting a little bored to be honest. Because he's nice? No, I don't know. Summer, like, I just don't want to really like anyone for real because niggas just be trash. But if he's been nice, I know you don't understand what I'm saying. Whatever that was supposed to mean. I say and roll my eyes. She stays quiet for a few minutes and then changes the topic, asking if I spoke to Claudia. I hadn't, and I had no desire to. She offers to beat her up again, but I didn't think that was funny. Regardless of what happened between us, losing her baby will never be a funny reminder. I know that isn't what Lauren meant, but with the offer, still. She stayed over until my mother came home, which was about 45 minutes later. My mother was in an oddly good mood and told Lauren she could stay for dinner, but she said she couldn't. She was on kind of a punishment. If my mother knew what happened today, I'd be under the earth. I didn't tell Lauren because the conversation just didn't lead there. Thought about calling Kiana to tell her, but I'll wait until I see her. I need this secret to go with me into adulthood, but I have to make it there first. I decided to call Aspen's parents. Her mom wasn't doing too well, considering the circumstances. I think she should give herself more time. Carl was worried about her mental state. She slept in Aspen's bed quite often and would wait up for her to come home. Oddly enough, she is a therapist, but it is always easier to help someone else than it is yourself. Carl asked how Clue and I were holding up. Whenever he calls Clue Terrence, I almost laugh because I almost always say, Clue? Every time I try to ask about him, he took the attention off himself. I can't imagine what he's going through, but he likely doesn't want to have to process his own hurt. He asked if I would have dinner with them when they were up for it. I told him, of course. Thankfully, he had to take the incoming call because he was starting to make me tear up. He sounded so defeated. He kept saying he really hopes the police do their job and find the killers, but he was starting to lose hope. It made me feel bad that I know exactly who did it, but I still hadn't told anyone. Ace said it would be handled, so I chalked the justice system up to street justice. Probably not the right thing to do, but Ace already knew who it was without me anyway. Jay probably did deserve to sit in a jail. I don't know. I just wish it never happened. Ace never called me that night, which is fine. I went to sleep kinda early and woke up before my alarm. I checked the caller ID and Claudia called. I guess my mom was on the phone or I slept through the ringing. She can't possibly think I'm calling her back. I'm not even slightly curious as to why she called either. Put the phone back on the base and continue getting ready for school. I hear my mother shuffling around outside my door and wonder why she's up so early. I open my door and peek. If you want to ride, hurry up. Okay, I say and close my door quickly. I'm happy as hell not to miss this ride to school. I was already ready to go anyway. I was passing the time just to leave. I throw my sneakers on and grab my spring jacket. I go sit in the living room waiting for my mother. You better not still be cutting, Submarine, my mother says in a stern tone as she fixes the button on her shirt. I look at her with a nervous look, but I fix my face before she catches it. You hear? She asks with an attitude. Yes, I hear you. So then answer, she snaps at me. Maybe I should just take the bus because who peed in her Cheerios this morning? We go out the door, out the building, and toward the car. We rode most of the way in silence. She seemed to be deep in thought even while she drove. I didn't want to interrupt and have her snap at me about cutting school again. I do need to get better with this, though. When we get to my school, she pulls a $20 bill out of her purse and hands it to me for breakfast and lunch. Thanks, Mom. Have a good day and go to all your classes. Okay. I close the passenger door behind me. I see Brielle and Dwayne walking hand in hand up the block. They look cute together. Now that I notice, it's a lot of coupled up people all over. Was it always like this? I walked directly into the school without looking back towards my mother's car. I could feel her watching me walk into the building. I will probably hear it when I get home about being coupled up. Miss Williams, you are early, Tommy says as I enter the building. I start laughing. Don't play with me. You play with yourself, young teenager, he says as I walk by. The whole school cuts. Be your own person, he says. I don't reply. I am my own person, but I can see why he said that. I walk toward my usual spot and stand with Tony and everybody else, but I know they're at the store. Our spot was empty because after a while everyone respected everyone's spot to stand at without anything being said. As I'm standing in our spot, I sit down on the floor and pull out my notebook. I start working on a take-home test that's due at the end of the week. Although I cut class quite often, I wasn't failing any classes, which is probably how I fly under the radar. Sasha always told me, if you're going to cut, you need to pass. She used to cut quite often also. I hand in homework at the end of the week, and I show up to take tests. I study mostly on my own time. This is why they give us textbooks, right? To learn the information. The teachers deduct points for my absences, but I pass my classes, except for gym. I'm failing because I don't show up. That's dumb of me, I know, and we actually need gym to graduate, so I have to start showing up eventually. In my defense, I was going to try, but they gave me 7:30 gym. They locked the door at 7:31. It was hard as hell to make that class on time. Then I just said fuck it. As I'm sitting there, I feel someone staring at me. I look up and it's a new group of guys that just got transferred in from Jamaica High School. They were all Crip and they wore their flags hanging out. This, in return, caused a lot of ruckus within the school, since there was a lot of Bloods in the school. Jules, Damien, and Shania always had their red flags out now, daring someone to do something. I had math with one of the new kids. His name is Angelo, but we don't speak too often. He mostly just stares at me. He's brown skinned and short with braids. He always had them in box braids. He was maybe 5'4", quite skinny. He had a royal blue spring jacket with a royal blue shirt, light blue jeans, and some white uptowns. Those are Air Force Ones, but in New York City, we say uptowns. He had a navy blue bandana hanging out his left back pocket. He was standing with three other guys. One was dark skinned with dreads that hung to his shoulder. I've never seen him say much, and when he did, it was to someone else. We had English class together, and he would only speak if the teacher forced him to. He was quite smart from what I saw. He never caused any problems. I heard he stabbed someone in Jamaica, and he had to act right or go to jail. Who knows if these stories ever have any truth to them? Rumors start, twist, and turn as they go along. He was dressed similar to Angelo, but in mostly navy blue. As far as I know, I've only heard him be called Black. Even the teachers and dean refer to him as Black. His real name is probably like Luther, Cleotis, Eugene, or Arnold. The other two I've seen, but I don't have class with them. I don't know their names or anything, just their faces. Angelo stares at me long enough that when I look up, he blushes. I don't react, just look back at my book and keep doing my take home test. What's up, studious nigga? I hear. I look up to see Jules standing in front of me smiling. I start laughing. Don't be mad. Nah, do your thing, Yellow. Be a lawyer and get us all out of trouble one day. I start laughing. Just as I'm putting my books away, I see someone walking by and I double take. He also double takes. I don't say anything, but Jules noticed. What happened? He questions. Nothing. Just didn't expect to see him. I stand up and think to myself for a minute, and Tony walks over. Yo, what the fuck is this shit? She asks and grabs Jules by the shirt. Yo, chill, he says, trying to get away from her, grabbing his shirt. You really think I'm stupid? You fucking whore? Tony screams at him while trying to hold his shirt and swing it with the other hand. Chill, Tony, chill, Jules says and breaks free. I'm looking confused, waiting for her to say why she was hitting him. You got some hands, Damien says as he walks over toward us with Shania. This nigga got a hickey, she says, sounding hurt but angry. We all turn and look at Jules. His shirt was stretched out from Tony pulling it, so you could definitely see it more now. He doesn't say anything. Not sure there's anything to say. Fuck you, Jules, she says and walks off toward the staircase. Just when I said to myself, Summer, go to class. Your mother just asked you about cutting. This happens. I'll be back. Or see y'all later, I say. I go off to find her. Tony went down the stairs and toward the library. We have to walk past the dean's office to get to the library also. Tony was moving like a ninja. I was almost unsure of which way she went. When I get to the bottom of the stairs, to the left is the library and the dean's office. We had 3 deans since the school was so large. There was a bench in the dean's office as a sitting area. When I get downstairs, I see a woman about 5'6" standing outside the office. She was a cinnamon brown complexion with long black straight hair. She had almond-shaped eyes, and they were the deepest shade of brown. She was dressed in up-to-date clothing. She even had on Jordans. She was looking over some paperwork and talking with an Asian gentleman. She had a Trinidadian accent. It was subtle but enough to hear that she had one. He was about 6 feet. He was dressed in a polo sweatsuit with the same Jordan she had on. He had his fitted hat backwards as he looked on attentively. They both didn't look that old in age. Honestly, maybe a little bit older than my parents. Just as I approach the dean's office, enough to see the bench, I see the boy on the bench turn toward the door.